Ladies and gentlemen, it's primetime grind time, up and down all night long at your mama's house. Today's video is a first lesson in a series that's going to be a guide to helping you improve your FPS play. Lesson 1 is the foundation for more that's to follow. In this video, we're going to break down something I've talked about a lot on this channel, which is communication. I've broken it down into 3 different components to make it easy to digest. Steps to easy communication, a way to organize and convey vital information in PUBG, as well as my meta abbreviation strategy I use with my team. Reference points and landmarks, familiarizing yourself with common PUBG terminology and establishing common landmarks between your team. Next, the 3-step callout, breaking down how to make the most efficient callout to keep your teammates on point and your enemies dead. Communication is a key element in PUBG that's often overlooked. Having the ability to relay important information in a coherent and timely fashion is a skill set every player should look to improve within their own game. Clear communication is the most relevant in high-stress situations. Being cool under fire while bullets are flying and coordinating with your teammates by relaying vital information will win you games. This is a guide to help you and your teammates improve the communication within your group. This will save you time, a lot of headaches, and turn your squad into a killing machine. Excess communication is distracting. Keeping your communications to what is important will increase your efficiency by giving you the ability to react to enemy movements and additional threats without having to talk over someone. Being forced to split your attention between who's talking and what you're trying to do can confuse and detract from your main objective, which is to use information in the game to defeat your opponents. Limiting your ability to hear things like enemy movements and actions, reloading, opening doors, footsteps, vehicles, gunshots will hinder your awareness. Many times excessive talking about shit that isn't relevant will just detract from your team's ability to work smoothly and win effectively. There's always time for jokes, but if the team goal is that chicken dinner, everyone being on point and objective with their comms is essential. Obvious examples of irrelevant comms are things like open mics that transmit background noises, excessive clicking or breathing, talking about non-game related topics, or crying about lag after you get knocked out. Those are things that are simple enough to fix. The real threat to your communication is the information you may be currently relaying that you think is relevant but really isn't. A common mistake that players make is to start calling out every item of loot as they come across it.
A flash hider for a sniper if anyone wants it. I normally don't really mind the flash hiders unless it's for a sniper, just because that can be... I don't bother picking up the flash hider. Yeah, and then there are some people who are just like, see me, bitch.
Ooh, SKS or Winchester, SKS or Winchester.
Pretty good with the Winchester last, but the SKS is a pretty good sniper.
Yeah, I know. Winchester is way better. If only you could put a scope on that bitch.
Yeah, see, I got pretty much, I don't know what it's called exactly. I just got it from my dad and I got the paperwork somewhere, but it's pretty much a Car 98, but I guess a really shitty Russian version. And dude in front of me, and I could not land a headshot. Either that or I did, and yeah, he's right there.
Make a point amongst your group to have everyone pick up the extra items they can carry they think their teammates may find useful. Items like extra scopes, meds, extended quick draw mags, and suppressors are good examples. Once it's established that enemies in the AO have been eliminated, take 30 seconds for the group to inquire about loot and distribute whatever extras they may have. If you or someone in your group desperately needs an item like meds or a weapon system, relay that information to the group and try not to repeat it. Alternatively, if you see a weapon or a high value item that you know someone needs, dropping a quick description of what it is and where it is with a player mark is all that's needed. This can be done by pressing the insert button. Another common topic is med supplies. Our group is pretty OCD when it comes to our comms, so we came up with a way to abbreviate our meds. We made a med order, 1 through 3, that doesn't change. It goes something like 1 is first aid kit, 2 is painkiller, 3 is energy. I've also heard other teams use similar strategies like this in rank play. This limits chatter from someone saying they have 4 first aids, 3 painkillers, and 2 energy drinks, to just simply saying I'm rocking 4-3-2. It cuts down on people talking about random shit and talking over one another. It helps to keep the dialogue focused on the task at hand.
How you doing med-wise?
441.
Alright, I got 422.
Reference points and landmarks. Working out common terminology for each area of the map that you frequent and establishing descriptive names for IDing buildings and landmarks is very helpful when it comes to having orderly and quick communication. Work with your team on developing an in-game language that's easy to understand. Being familiar with the areas you frequent allows you and your team to communicate information quickly and effectively. This is key when eliminating the enemies in your area of operations. Start by picking the places you like to drop. For example, my friends and I drop non-stop at the military base, so since most of the buildings in the military base are unique, we came up with names to identify them. Starting with the West, you have the West Garages, the K, the Scaffold, Satellite Building, East Garages, North, West, South Barracks, Statue, Secondary K, Pump House, Warehouse, ATC, and Hangars. Having these callouts saves us time and gives us more time to listen for our enemies. We all understand callouts using these landmark names. This allows our team to operate more efficiently in a chaotic environment. The name of the buildings doesn't matter as long as everyone knows what it represents.
Do you know what this is?
The same can be done for identifying any other more common buildings in PUBG. Things like the 1-story, white, red, or blue roof, or the 2-story, white with blue roof. The 3-step callout. Heading, distance, descriptive use of landmarks. This system is easy to learn and implement on the battlefield. Use your HUD to provide directional heading on your enemy's location from your position. An example of something like Mark 330. Next, you want to establish a rough estimate on your target's distance. This information can be based on your location, your team location, or a landmark. Each of the small squares on your minimap also represents 100 meters. Use your terrain information on the map to judge the distance. If you practice this, eventually you will be able to automatically provide a relatively accurate estimate without having to check your map. Example, 200 meters. The third and final step is to add a descriptive element to the callout that your team can understand and identify quickly. This can be something as simple as saying midway up a hill, or next to that double tree or rock. Adding descriptive terms allows your teammates to relate their position to yours and then locate the landmark or descriptive term used so that they can quickly identify where the enemy is. An example of the 3-step callout is, I see an enemy man, Mark 300, 200 meters from me and the 2-story red house, yellow roof. Or, I have visual on a 4-man team on our 175 heading west about 500 meters top of the hill. Descriptive terms can also be useful when describing players in CQC engagements. This usually takes place in urban environments like cities. When engaging multiple targets in close proximity, sometimes giving a call like target is wearing white helmet or purple jacket can be helpful to your teammates when they engage. Calling out and remembering what your opponents are wearing in these situations can help you to determine whether or not you've eliminated your initial target. Maybe you called out a guy in a white jacket and your teammate kills a guy in a trench coat. You know there's an enemy close in play. Relaying target information from different positions can be challenging when you're separated from your team. A HUD heading will differ depending on the angle and the distance of your squad mate. Occasionally, giving an improper heading to a teammate can result in a failure to quickly identify the target and their death. It's important to identify these types of situations and giving your information accordingly. So sometimes it's better just to use plain speak. He's east of me, near the rock with a tree directly next to it. That would mean a lot more to me than he's 90 from me. Another quick method for figuring out your teammate's heading from your target is to check on your minimap and orient yourself in the same direction that your teammate is facing. Doing this will make your HUD more accurate when operating from odd angles and distance. Alright boys, that about wraps it up for this video. This is basically the first lesson in a series that will be a guide to helping you improve your FPS play. Alright, it's the foundation. A lot of this material was consolidated by a friend of mine named TwistedXVS in a guide called the FPS Shooter series. You can find a link to it in the description below. Also a link to his Twitch. We hope this helps you guys communicate better with your team. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll catch you on the flip. Cheers.